Mr. Azopardi, thank you for joining us. First of all, I'd like to hear your initial response to the news of an agreement today.
Well, I think it's important to dice away the initial reaction, because on the one hand, I think I view it with a cautious welcome, in the sense that until we got to a political declaration, you can't get to a treaty text that is settled. But equally, I think it's important to understand that nothing of substance has emerged today, when there's a lot of hype about there being an agreement, but actually there is no agreement yet. All that there has been is a political declaration, a press release. Now, was that necessary? Yes, but because you need to get beyond the political agreement. But in terms of when people are judging whether it's a good or bad agreement for Gibraltar, there is no agreement of substance that has emerged. And as we keep saying, our position in the GSD is that we want a safe and beneficial agreement. But you cannot make the judgment as to whether something is safe or beneficial until the treaty text emerges. Now, our understanding is that this is going to be some months, that this treaty text could be a few hundred pages. It will contain complex clauses that need to be judged. We've had a political declaration, which is no more than a page and a bit today. There is no way that you can make an assessment as to whether this is safe and beneficial when there's been a political declaration of 1 page, which is 7 pages less than the New Year's Eve agreement, in respect of which we had misgivings. So I think the real point is cautious welcome on the fact that they've passed the hurdle of the political agreement, but until such time as there is a treaty text on the table, there is no way that anyone can judge whether this is safe and beneficial.
I understand that you're not in a place to judge it in its entirety yet, but there are some details that have emerged today. For example, the checks at the airport with Spanish officials being there, etc. Are there any elements that we've heard of so far that you are particularly opposed to or you particularly welcome?
Well, again, I think you've got to extrapolate the New Year's Eve agreement, which is 8 pages long, against this political declaration. Some of the stuff that has emerged in this political declaration can be linked quite easily
to
the New Year's Eve agreement. Well, it's not the same in one important respect. For example, when you ask me about Spanish checks, that the New Year's Eve agreement mentions Frontex. This political declaration does not, but I don't want to make a judgment. This is what I'm very keen to say, that I'm not jumping to conclusions one way or the other. I'm not getting hyper excited that there's been an agreement, because there hasn't been one, and nor am I in the position of saying there hasn't been a legal agreement. But until there is a legal agreement, there's nothing that is enforceable or against which you can really judge whether it's safe and beneficial. And nor am I in a position where I'm saying there are heinous issues in this political declaration, because I think it's important to temper the reaction today on the basis that there are issues in the political declaration that will cause some people concern, that will cause some people a great deal of enthusiasm. Again, I think until you've got the agreement, you can't make a final judgment.
We'll have to wrap up shortly, but just very quickly before we go, could you just tell us when you found out about today, have you had any involvement with anything that's been going on?
Well, I had a meeting with the Chief Minister yesterday. He gave me a briefing of what they were trying to achieve today in Brussels, the political declaration. I also met the Foreign Secretary this morning, David Lammy, and Mr. Doughty with Damon Bossino and Roy Clinton. We had a 30-minute meeting after he met the Chief Minister and before he left for Brussels.